shared humanity. Come savor the journey. Call your travel professional or visit hollandamerica.com.
Good morning, America. Winter weather emergency. 3/4 of the country facing alerts right now, bracing for dangerous morning commutes. This car slamming into a police cruiser and a truck jackknifing. Now the South is getting hit hard. Schools shutting down from Texas to Alabama, and the East Coast from Florida to Boston and up through Maine, bracing for snow and ice.
House of Horrors. A mother and father accused of holding their 13 children captive in the suburban home, many chained to their beds and starving. How one of their daughters stole a phone, escaped, and called 911. Disturbing new details this morning.
Deadly flu epidemic. The CDC sounding the alarm, calling an emergency meeting as a mother of 3 who just celebrated her 40th birthday dies in less than 48 hours. And this morning, the new concerns about an IV bag shortage.
And Simone Biles breaks her silence, saying, "Me too." The Olympic gold medalist's powerful message as that disgraced USA gymnastics doctor faces nearly 100 accusers in court this morning.
Live in Times Square, this is GMA with Robin Roberts, George Stephanopoulos, and Michael Strahan.
And we do say good morning, America, and it's another cold one out there.
Yeah.
This is a live look at the roads in Tennessee. Starting to snow right now. Nashville, Memphis. Millions facing a messy commute this morning.
Get a sense of this by looking at this map right here. You see so many parts of the country under storm alerts as that system moves its way east.
But some schools are even closed in the South, from Texas to Georgia. We're going to go right to Ginger, who's tracking the latest. Good morning, Ginger.
Good morning, Michael. It's a good thing they are closed, because we just got news in that parts of I-20 westbound near Shreveport closed down thanks to that snow that's flying right there. And snow flying all the way to Kentucky and Ohio. The wind chill warnings that go from Montana into Oklahoma, and advisories here from Corpus Christi up to Providence, Rhode Island. Overnight, wicked winter weather taking over the roads. From Wisconsin to Ohio to Missouri. Snow sending cars sliding, semis jackknifing on the freeway, leaving traffic backed up for miles. And look at this video out of Kentucky. Black ice sending this car spinning before slamming into a police cruiser. In the Northeast,
water was like 5 inches below the windowsill.
Frozen floodwaters creating ice jams, threatening entire towns. Water rushing downstream, spilling into nearby communities. In Alabama, a state of emergency declared. And in Texas, more than 660 flights delayed or canceled as fears grow that this storm could paralyze parts of the state. Our Marcus Moore was on the ground in Dallas.
This is some of the material that you would put down on the road.
Crews working long hours to prevent ice from building up on bridges and overpasses. The Texas Department of Transportation using nearly 200 pieces of equipment to pre-treat some 10,000 miles of roads in Dallas alone. But still, dozens of schools closed this morning.
Because we don't see a lot of this, it's important that we tell drivers that, look, if you don't have to be out on the road, then by all means stay home.
So if you're in College Station or Houston this morning and it's raining, and then it's going to transition to a freezing rain or sleet move through the Gulf, and you can see even New Orleans in that winter weather advisory. The snowy part sticks from West Virginia up through western Virginia through tonight and tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning is where that coastal low wraps in a little bit of more moisture, and you could end up seeing 3 to 6 inches of snow in some of the coastal areas in New England, 2 to 4 closer to New York City here. Michael, it gets really cold, and I'm talking real cold deep south. I'll talk about that in a bit.
All right, thank you, Ginger. My mom told me last night to tell everybody in Houston, stay in, don't go anywhere. But if you have to, be safe.
That's right. Good advice there, Michael. Good turn now to that disturbing discovery in California. 2 parents accused of abusing their children, holding 13 of them captive in their own home. They were found after one of them escaped and got help. Our senior national correspondent, Matt Gutman, is on the scene for us there in Paris, California. Good morning, Matt.
Hey, good morning, Robin. This quaint house in the suburban neighborhood, the 4 cars here in the driveway, the manicured lawns around here belie the horrors that police say were happening inside. They say those 13 children they pulled out had been physically and psychologically abused, perhaps for decades. And when they finally got all those children out of the house, they say they were so malnourished, they mistook even the adults for children. This morning, police say this middle-class home hid the darkest of secrets. In this exclusive video, you see David and Louise Turpin handcuffed and led out of what police described as a house of horrors. Their 13 children, the youngest just 2 years old, living in dungeon-like conditions. Police discovered this scene on Sunday after one of the children, a 17-year-old girl, grabbed a cell phone, escaped, and dialed 911. Police units swarmed, and inside, police say they discovered the 12 remaining children shackled to their beds with chains and padlocks. 7 of the children they discovered were actually adults, ranging in age from 18 to 29, but they looked much younger, investigators say, because they were so malnourished.
They were very, very pale skinned, almost like they've never seen the sun.
David Turpin's parents telling ABC News overnight that he said he'd had so many children because God called on them to. David Turpin's parents also saying the children were given very strict homeschooling, and according to public records, Turpin was the principal of the Sandcastle Day School, registered at the same address.
Looking in her eyes and repeating after me, I, David.
I, David.
I take thee, Louise.
I take thee, Louise.
The couple recently renewing their vows in a Las Vegas Elvis chapel, with their boys and girls arrayed in identical haircuts and outfits. There were also pictures of what seemed like happy family vacations to Disneyland. But neighbors recall only seeing the children recently outside late at night, rolling out sod on the lawn.
Everybody was super skinny and not athletic skinny, malnourished skinny.
How old did she look to you?
They look young to me. They're saying that they're older, but to me they look very young.
Both parents are under arrest for multiple counts of torture and child endangerment. They're held on a $9 million bail each.
Now, when I spoke to David Turpin's parents overnight, they said they described this as a happy family, although the last time they did see the kids, they said they did look thin. Now, they described that strict Bible upbringing in which those kids were taught to memorize large passages of the Bible. Now, that 17-year-old girl that we mentioned who escaped, police and neighbors told me she was so emaciated, they mistook her for a 10-year-old. Now, all of those children have been sent to a hospital for evaluation. Robin.
Get the care that they need. Just horrible. All right, Matt, thank you.
How could all those signs have gone unnoticed? We're going to move on now to the White House and new fallout for President Trump over the vulgar and racially charged comments he made about Africa and Haiti in the Oval Office. Facing condemnation across the country and around the world, the president is doubling down with a new attack on the only Democrat in the meeting. Our chief White House correspondent John Carl has all the latest. And John, all this could increase the chances of a government shutdown on Friday.
It sure looks grim, George. With all the name-calling and the back and forth, the distrust, the two sides appear to be miles apart from a deal. And of course, Democrats have made it clear if they do not have protection for the Dreamers, they will not agree to extend government funding. What Republicans are going to try to do now is to temporarily extend government funding. And actually, George, I have talked to both Democrats and Republicans involved in the negotiations who believe that ultimately there will be a deal on this. In fact, it's quite possible that the president's explosive comments have actually moved the Republicans, put more pressure on them to strike a deal.
Put more pressure on the Republicans to strike a deal, but it moves the Democrats further away from the deal. And John, we're learning a lot more about that meeting right now. Even the Washington Post reporting that the president, after the meeting, wasn't denying the comments at all, was calling friends to see how it was playing.
Exactly, George. And, you know, I followed this in real time, talked to people who were either briefed on the meeting or in the meeting in the hours and days after that. The White House denials, the Republican denials took days to actually happen. There's no question that the president made explosive comments. Whether or not they were precisely as first reported may be an open question, but I'm not even sure that's much of a question.
Okay, we'll have more on this with Matt Dad and Meghan McCain coming up. John, thanks very much.
And George, as you know, it's a busy day on Capitol Hill. The president's former top strategist, Steve Bannon, on the hot seat, answering questions in that Russia investigation in the wake, of course, of that bombshell book, Fire and Fury. Our senior justice correspondent, Pierre Thomas, has more. And Pierre, Bannon is not the only one heading to the Hill. Good morning.
Right, Robin. Good morning. Two of President Trump's closest confidants are expected on Capitol Hill this week to testify about Russia. And Steve Bannon's highly anticipated appearance before the House Intelligence Committee today looks like further evidence that the new book by Michael Wolff continues to haunt the administration. Former White House Chief Strategist Steve Bannon expected to be grilled by House Intelligence Committee investigators today behind closed doors.
I obviously have a lot of questions based on his comments in the book.
In Michael Wolff's book, Fire and Fury, now a bestseller, Bannon allegedly called Don Trump Jr.'s meeting in Trump Tower with the Russians treasonous and unpatriotic. The chance that Don Jr. did not walk these Jamos up to his father's office on the 26th floor is zero.
What's the basis for his assertion that the president met with the participants in the Trump Tower meeting, what he knows about the president's knowledge of that meeting, as well as his concerns over money laundering, which has been a persistent concern of ours as well.
Bannon allegedly told Wolff that Don Jr. would suffer from a money laundering investigation and would crack like an egg on national TV. And Wolff claims that Bannon openly suggested that Jared Kushner, the president's son-in-law, and former campaign chairman Paul Manafort might have been involved in financial crimes. The White House denouncing Wolff's book, and the president saying in a statement that Bannon had lost his mind. Bannon is expected to face hours of questioning as these congressional hearings behind closed doors are often marathons. And with all this attention from the book and today's congressional appearance, Special Counsel Mueller might want to talk to Bannon as well, Robin.
And Pierre, you said another former top Trump campaign aide also heading to the Hill.
That's right. Corey Lewandowski is expected before the same committee on Thursday, and Robin Manafort is due back in court today for a hearing to discuss his upcoming trial on allegations of money laundering. Another week of Russia being front and center for the administration, Robin.
All right, Pierre, we'll keep the discussion going.
Yeah, let's talk to our chief political analyst now, Matthew Dowd, Meghan McCain of The View. Meghan, let me begin with you. Let's start out with President Trump, those comments in the Oval Office, this new attack on Senator Durbin. It seems like whenever the White House gets a head of steam, president gets in the way.
Yeah, if there's one thing Trump supporters and non-Trump supporters can agree on, 69% in a recent Quinnipiac poll, is they want the president to stop tweeting. All of these wounds are 100% self-inflicted, and the fact that he keeps coming out and saying things that are, I mean, you know, things that I can't say on television, and then trying to backtrack and sort of switch the narrative for what he said about the blank holes over the weekend is fascinating, but I found it completely tone-deaf given that it was Martin Luther King Day.
Yeah, and Matt, one of the surprising things here is the president's ability to get his allies to go along with him on these stories.
Well, it's an amazing situation, and I'll agree with Meghan on all of this. This is a guy who had a victory within his grasp, and then through a series of fumbles and personal fouls, he's put himself in a situation where he has to be like Case Keenum to throw a 61-yard pass to Stephon Diggs in order to win this, when it was a victory that he already had. But it's amazing to me, the thing that's fundamentally amazing to me is the inability of the GOP in Congress to provide the checks and balances on this president who seemed to constantly go along with the crazy stuff he does.
And Meghan, do you agree with what John Carl was reporting, that this puts more pressure on Republicans now to get a deal on immigration?
Yes, 100%. But this, the blank hole, that I can't say this on national television, I thought that was a siren song sort of signal to the base of his supporters. Because if you watch anything on cable news, everyone from Tucker Carlson to Ann Coulter was losing their minds at the idea of a DACA deal, actually being put forth. And I think that he's struggling with the fact that DACA is immensely popular, not just with Republicans, but with Democrats as well. And it's in the nation's best interest, in my opinion, to continue on with this bill. But at the same time, when you run on Mexicans are immigrants, are rapists and criminals, and you sort of have this siren song against the base, I think that he's struggling with whether or not he's going to continue to be loyal to them.
Yeah, and as we've heard in those first hours, the president seemed to think it was playing okay for him before he came out with denials. Meanwhile, Matt, on this testimony today from Steve Bannon before the House Intelligence Committee, those comments he made about the Russia investigation, inflammatory in the Fire and Fury book, the question is going to be, does he stick by them under oath?
We're in a sort of fundamentally bizarre territory where Donald Trump fired basically 3 campaign managers. One, Paul Manafort, is under multiple indictments. 2 campaign managers who are also, as I say, were also fired, are now going to testify on the Hill related to whether or not there was Russian coordination or Russian collusion in the midst of this. This is uncharted territory, George, that we have never seen in a president in the first year in office.
Yeah. No, I'm fascinated to see whether or not Bannon continues to turn in the hearings, because obviously he did with Michael Wolff. He's completely toothless at this point. He has no funding from the Mercers. Breitbart's gone. He has no radio show. He's not working in the White House. So this does seem like a situation where he might actually turn and give us some of the information I think all of us are waiting to hear.
We will be watching. Thank you both very much. Michael?
All right. Thank you, George. And now we're going to go to the dangerous
And deadly flu is hitting nearly every state in the country hard right now. And ABC Steve Osunsami at the CDC headquarters in Atlanta, where they're holding an emergency meeting. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning to you, Michael. This particular strain of flu that we're seeing the most is hardest on children and seniors. Already across the country, the number of children hospitalized has doubled in the last 2 weeks, which makes this meeting today here at the CDC especially timely. This morning, this 38-year-old father and picture of health needs machines to breathe after coming down with the flu. Adam York is still hospitalized in Birmingham, at one point in a medically induced coma.
I was in a 24-hour period. He went from talking to me on the phone to being in the bed on these machines, struggling to live. I mean, 24 hours is pretty fast.
The CDC is calling it an epidemic sweeping across nearly every state, and there are 13 more weeks of the flu season still to go.
This is just a problem bug. We hate it when this bug shows up.
This year's most prevalent strain is also the most deadly. 20 children have already died, and more than 60,000 Americans have tested positive for the flu this season. Katie Oxley Thomas, a Bay Area mother of 3, got sick and died within 47 hours, and her family even believes she had already gotten the flu shot.
Because we just thought she'd be back home in a couple days, and she wasn't.
Today, the CDC's planned workshop on nuclear attack preparedness was scrapped at the last minute for the flu. They're sounding this alarm instead. Here in Atlanta, the number of patients with the flu showing up at hospitals has more than doubled.
We've tested nearly twice as many patients as we have the year before, and we're seeing about 4 times as much flu.
And there's another problem. Hospitals need bags of IV fluid to treat the flu, and there's a shortage after Hurricane Maria shut down a factory in Puerto Rico. At Mass General in Boston, they're having to give some patients Gatorade through a stomach tube instead. They say it's still not too late to get a flu shot, and if you do get one and you get sick, your illness won't be as rough. And about that father who is hospitalized in a medically induced coma, we're learning, Michael, that his family doesn't have health insurance, and they're raising money for his medical expenses online. Michael?
All right, thank you so much, Steve. And it doesn't seem to be letting up.
No, not at all.
It sure doesn't. Switch gears now, something a little happier. Real anchorman at work down in the Australian Open. Look who walked out to interview Roger Federer with John McEnroe. Of course, that's Will Ferrell. Let's take a look.
Now, there's a rumor in the men's locker room that you love coming to play down here in Melbourne, and your secret to fitness is you only eat wombat meat. Is that true?
That is untrue.
Have you ever tasted wombat meat?
I have not. Should I?
It is delicious. The national food of Australia.
Federer plays a good straight man.
Yeah,
right there.
But he had his anchorman voice going there.
He did.
He was a great sport about that. Let's get another check of the weather with Ginger.
And you ate a whole wheel of cheese. It's my favorite line from Anchorman, and I'm not even mad. It's amazing. Let's talk about the cold real quick. Frozen in time. No, we are not grilling anytime soon in New York, nor will you be. Even as far south as Jackson, Mississippi, these are early morning wind chills this morning. Feels like 9 in Dallas, single digits in Lubbock, and it won't stop. By tomorrow morning, we are embracing the chill, even in the panhandle of Florida. The Tuesday Trivia now brought to you by Edward Jones.
Hi, I'm Mindy Kearns. It's great to finally meet you.
Nice to meet you, too.
Your parents have been talking about you for years.
Sorry about that. They're all about me saving for a house or starting a college fund for my son.
Actually, I want to know what you're thinking. Have a seat.
Yeah.
Knowing that the most important goals are yours. With 15,000 financial advisors, it's a big deal. And it's how Edward Jones makes sense of investing.
Hey, we're headed up to 40 degrees today with advisories for snowfall coming this evening after the PM rush. The 40 degrees will help road temperatures at first, but with snow overnight and temperatures dropping well below freezing, it is going to be slippery travel tomorrow morning, and we'll be on weather alert mode. The snow will start this evening late and end by around 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. 1 to 2 inches expected most neighborhoods, higher amounts northern Montgomery County up toward Frederick County, Maryland. Highs tomorrow under freezing.
Up Olympic champion Simone Biles saying "Me Too," accusing that disgraced gymnastics team doctor of sexual abuse. Her emotional message and why she's telling her story now.
And CVS is taking a stand against airbrushing. We're going to tell you what they're planning to do in their stores, how it could change the way you shop. That's all coming up here on GMA.
You've huffed and puffed